Dear friends of the Prophetic Vision channel, welcome to a compelling journey into the intricate mystery of Moses' death and the controversial celestial struggle for his body. Subscribe, comment and leave a like if you want to join our community. It will be a joy to have you with us. The mystery of the death of Moses and the celestial burial. This ancient biblical enigma catapults us into a world of profound meanings and reveals unexpected aspects of the relationship between the divine and the demonic. Many secrets will be revealed in this fascinating chapter of the Holy Scriptures. The story of Moses is legendary, a man who led his people through the arid lands of Egypt, freeing them from slavery and leading them to the Promised Land. However, the culmination of his extraordinary life was marked by a seemingly dark and underappreciated event, his death. And in this death, we discover one of the most enigmatic and little explored episodes of the Bible. The complete narrative of this struggle is found primarily in the Apocrypha of the Assumption of Moses, also known as the Ascension of Moses, a Jewish text from the 1st century AD, but not included in the canonical Bible. According to this Apocrypha, Michael defeated Satan in the contest for the body of Moses. Despite its presence in apocryphal traditions, this story is not universally accepted by all Christian denominations, as it is not part of the recognized biblical canon. Stay with us to discover all the details. Moses, after leading the Israelites through the desert for decades, found himself on the threshold of the Promised Land. But, in a seemingly insignificant act, he made a mistake that would have crucial repercussions. Instead of following the divine instruction to speak to the rock to bring out water, he turned to the people in frustration, saying, "We must bring water out of this rock." The first mistake was the use of the term "we" rather than attributing all power to God. Moses inadvertently attributed to himself a portion of the power that belonged only to the divine. Furthermore, he struck the rock instead of speaking to it, an action that went against clear divine instructions. These mistakes, although they seemed small, cost Moses access to the Promised Land. Thus, in the Book of Deuteronomy 34 verses 5 to 6, we learn of his death in the land of Moab and his burial in a secret valley, a place whose mystery is maintained to this day. His divine burial, personally performed by God, raises profound questions about the nature of this special connection between the human and the divine. But the story takes an even more mysterious turn when Satan, the architect of evil, claims Moses' body. A celestial struggle of epic proportions takes place here. In the Holy Scriptures, in the Book of Jude, verse 9, it is revealed to us that the Archangel Michael and Satan seriously clashed over the fate of Moses' body. Here we are faced with a fundamental question: why did Satan desire Moses' body so intensely after his death? To answer this question, we must explore the possible motivations behind this dark and provocative request. First, there is the possibility that Satan was trying to prevent Moses from being resurrected or taken up into heaven. He may have misinterpreted divine intentions, thinking that God would take Moses to heaven, as he had done with Elijah or Enoch. Second, Satan may have desired to use Moses' body as an instrument of idolatry for the Israelites. This would have turned the people away from the true worship of God, as demonstrated by previous incidents of idolatry, such as the golden calf described in Exodus 32. Third, Satan, known as the accuser, in Revelation 12-10, may have wanted to accuse Moses of his past sins and unworthiness before God. Using Moses' failures, such as killing an Egyptian or breaking the tablets of the law, Satan would try to condemn him. These reasons may seem convoluted and even incomprehensible, but they reflect Satan's cunning and evil nature. But even in the face of these motivations, Archangel Michael stands as a bulwark of defense. Instead of addressing Satan directly in his own strength, he humbly declares that the Lord will rebuke him. This act of submission to divine will is an example of celestial wisdom and a reminder that the power to counter Satan comes only from God. The body of Moses, in his eternal rest, becomes the center of this cosmic struggle. The Bible does not provide all the details of this heavenly confrontation, but what stands out is Michael's resistance against Satan's bold claims. The fight takes place not on an earthly battlefield, but in the celestial realms, revealing the epic scope of this spiritual conflict. As Archangel Michael resists with strength and devotion, we wonder, what could Satan have gained from possessing the body of an already dead man? This is where speculation and interpretation of the Holy Scriptures comes into play. Satan's deep motivation and Michael's resistance. To fully understand Satan's motivations for claiming Moses' body, we must consider the larger context of the devil's actions throughout biblical history. Satan, also known as the tempter, the accuser, and the father of lies, has always been a cunning adversary of men in divine intent. His rebellion against God led him to continually try to upset the divine plan and corrupt humanity. Satan's request for Moses' body can be interpreted through several lenses. First, the possibility that Satan was trying to prevent Moses from being resurrected or taken up into heaven offers an interesting insight. In the Holy Scriptures, we find examples of people taken directly to heaven without suffering physical death, such as Elijah and Enoch. Satan, a cunning expert of prophecies, may have feared that God had a similar fate in store for Moses. Imagine a resurrected Moses, a spiritual leader returning from the dead to lead his people once again. This perspective could have undermined Satan's efforts to lead the Israelites astray. Thus, by claiming Moses' body, Satan might have hoped to prevent a possible heavenly resurrection or assumption, thus maintaining control over the spiritual narrative. Second, the use of Moses' body as an instrument of idolatry represents another intriguing motivation of Satan. The Israelites, notoriously prone to idolatry, had repeatedly demonstrated their propensity to deviate from the pure worship of the one God. Satan, aware of this weakness, may have wished to exploit the veneration of Moses' body as a means of leading the Israelites away from their faith in God. Imagine the body of Moses kept somewhere, an object of worship for future generations. This could have served as an effective distraction, leading the Israelites to focus on a past leader rather than their present relationship with God. Third, the possibility of accusing Moses of his past sins could reveal a more subtle strategy of Satan. Accusation is a distinctive feature of Satan's role in the Scriptures, often referred to as the accuser of the brothers, Revelation 12-10. Moses, despite his great deeds and his leadership under God's direction, was not immune to human errors. Let us reflect on the moments in his life when he committed actions against divine will, killing an Egyptian, breaking the tablets of the law, or striking the rock instead of speaking to it. Satan, as cunning as ever, could have sought to use these past failures to accuse Moses of unworthiness before God. This type of attack would call into question the holiness and justice of God's chosen people, thus undermining their trust in the divinely appointed leadership. Finally, there is the possibility that Satan wanted to mock God's plan and power by taking over Moses' body. Satan's pride and rebellion are evident in his actions, and capturing the body of such a great leader and mediator chosen by God may have been a trophy of victory for him. The idea of Satan boasting of his conquest against one of the pillars of faith could have served as an act of direct defiance against divine authority. Satan, in this perspective, may have tried to demonstrate his superiority over God's plan, underlining that no divine plan would remain outside his reach. These motivations, while speculative, offer us an in-depth look into Satan's possible dark intentions in claiming Moses' body. His cunning and his desire to upset the divine plan emerge as key elements in this celestial conflict. On the other hand, Archangel Michael stands as a figure of divine resistance against Satan's evil demands. His wisdom in recognizing his dependence on God for the power to rebuke Satan and his humble respect for divine authority exemplify heavenly virtue. The battle, while it may appear to be focused on Moses' body, is also a broader depiction of the struggle between good and evil in the heavenly realms. The divine triumph, the spiritual lesson, and the epic conclusion. What was Satan's ultimate goal in his audacious attempt to reclaim Moses' body? And how did Archangel Michael resist this request, recognizing divine authority as central to his response. One of the most intriguing aspects of this conflict is the question, what could Satan have gained from possessing the body of an already dead man? The answer to this question leads us to a deeper reflection on the psychology of the devil and his implacable rebellion against God. Satan, in his pride, may have tried to exploit the body of Moses as an instrument of mockery against God. Possessing the body of one of the most significant and beloved leaders of God's people could have been seen as a trophy of victory, demonstrating his supposed superiority against the divine plan. However, in this bold attempt, Satan underestimated the wisdom and supernatural power of God. Archangel Michael, as a figure of resistance, did not confront Satan based on his own strength or authority, but called upon divine power, declaring that the Lord would rebuke him. This act emphasizes the total dependence on divine resources in the fight against dark forces. The body of Moses, at the center of this spiritual battle, symbolically represents the power and authority of God. His divine burial and the mystery around his tomb highlight the sacredness of this prophetic figure. Even in his death, Moses remains a symbol of guidance and faithfulness to God, representing the fundamental lesson of this biblical story. The greatest lesson that emerges from this complex narrative is the importance of true worship. The Israelites, throughout their history, have continually succumbed to the trap of idolatry. Whether it was the golden calf during the Exodus or the brazen serpent during the pilgrimage in the wilderness, the chosen people easily strayed from the right path. The potential misuse of Moses' body as an object of veneration highlights the ongoing human struggle to keep worship centered on God. The temptation to worship idols rather than focus on direct connection with the divine is a constant challenge. This call to idolatry is a clear warning to all believers of every age. Second, this story testifies to us of God's infinite grace that extends beyond our human shortcomings. Despite the mistakes Moses made, God personally buried him and honored him with a divine burial. This act of love, respect, and honor reveals the depth of the special relationship Moses had with his Creator. Even in our imperfections and falls, God's grace is able to lift us up and honor us. The story of Moses encourages us to look beyond our past failures and trust in God's redeeming grace. His mercy is greater than our failures, and His love surpasses our every weakness. Ultimately, this story serves as a powerful warning about the need to resist Satan's temptations. Archangel Michael, in his resistance, teaches us that even in the face of the enemy's wiles and accusations, faith and the power of the Word of God can triumph. Satan, in daring to claim Moses' body, revealed his thirst for derision, his desire to upset divine plans and his desire to undermine human faith. However, the final triumph belongs to God. Despite Satan's wiles, God's plans always prevail. This is the key lesson that emerges from the celestial comparison for the body of Moses. In conclusion, we are faced with an intricate and mysterious narrative that reveals profound aspects of the struggle between good and evil in the celestial dimensions. The story of Moses, his death, and the dispute over his body turns into an epic lesson in faith, resistance, and divine triumph. We thank you for joining us on this journey through the Holy Scriptures. We hope that this in-depth exploration of the mystery of Moses' death and his heavenly burial has enriched your spiritual understanding. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and comments below, and subscribe to our Prophetic Vision channel to further explore the mysteries of faith. We will meet soon in a new episode, ready to explore the depths of spirituality together. May the divine light always guide you.